Hey everybody, hope and pray that you're doing well. Today as we come to our word from the word. And today that word is paradox. Paradox. And now, as we've been going through the book of Judges here recently and looking at the story of Gideon over the past few days, it's something for us to see what I'm calling this paradox, this irony, as you get to Judges chapter 7. And it's kind of ironic throughout the whole story. You see these comparisons and these things going on where it seems as though Gideon is scared of everything, and as I've spoken to many times, that he calls him almighty man of valor as he's hiding. But even with that, as you have this huge group of soldiers, and God winnows them on down to 300. And now, over and over and over again, Gideon has tested the patience of the Lord, and we even talked about that yesterday. Just testing him, and God continues to have patience and reveal Himself and reveal His plan. That yes, Gideon, I'm going to deliver the Midianites into your hand, and He's told him this over and over again. Well, as we get to today's passage, I'm going to just read one verse, but after he's gotten them down to 300, and he says, look, if you're still not sure, just go on down to the camp and see what happens. So he takes his servant with him. They go on down. I think he was afraid to go by himself. But in Judges chapter 7, verse 15, it says, and so it was when Gideon heard the telling of the dream and its interpretation that he worshiped. And we're just going to stop right there. Now, here's the thing. He goes to camp, the enemy camp, and he overhears people there afraid because of a dream that they had, and they knew that it meant that God was going to destroy them. Now, it's really, and here's the paradox, here's the irony of it all. It was not throughout all this time, all his encounters with the angel of the Lord, and the times that he realized he was talking to the Lord face to face, all of this that's going on, all the instructions, all the testing and everything else, it seems like none of that causes him to worship. But now, once he finally understands and sees for himself that the enemy is more afraid of him than he is afraid of the enemy. And it's all because they know that God is in control. It's a sad truth that the enemy had more faith in God than Gideon did. Gideon kept testing and having a lack of faith, but the enemy, because they had seen the proven track record of the Lord, they had more faith in him than Gideon did. Now, Gideon does make it right and does fall down in worship, but it got me to thinking how often in our lives we spend time in prayer. We finally come to a time where we're ready to worship Him, worship the Lord, and thank Him for the way that He's worked things out. And now we should do that. But sometimes I wonder how long it takes us to get to that point. How many times have we been throwing out the fleece and testing the Lord? How many times have we questioned over and over, God, is this really what you want me to do? If you want me to do it, then show me this way, show me that way. When the whole time God has been faithful, the enemy is it's sad that the enemy had more faith in God than Gideon did. Now, they didn't believe necessarily, they didn't have a saving faith in God, but they had a head knowledge that was aware of God. And so many times in our society today, it seems that we do have some that have a head knowledge of God and even a more of a respect for Him and His position and overall creation than those who claim to serve Him as Lord. See, because that head knowledge will only get us so far. What we need is that heart knowledge and that heart relationship with the Lord. See, that's the paradox, is that we think we need to know everything about the Lord before we can trust Him, when all we really need to do is trust Him, and then we'll know everything that we need to know. You think about that, when you really seek to know the Lord on an intimate level, when you trust Him with everything that you have, you begin to know Him on that more intimate level. And now, as you trust Him, you learn more about Him. Whereas there's plenty of scholars today that can read and study Scripture as though it's a book, but yet because they don't know the author, it doesn't have the same effect. See, let's not fall into the same paradox that Gideon did. Let's not have this where the enemy is trusting God more than we are. No, let's set the example, and let's just take God simply at his word. God bless you, and I pray you have a great, great day.